Hello, I'm Bernard Hickey from interest.co.nz and welcome to a special housing report brought to you in association with ASB. Today we look at the latest Real Estate Institute of New Zealand median house price figure for November. It's just out and it shows that the median house price in November was actually up to $337,500 from $335,000 in October. But volumes were down, so the number of sales dropped to 4,279 from 4,469. Now the REINZ says that prices are flat and volumes are down because many buyers held back from the market in the run-up to the election on November 8 and also because of the global economic turmoil. The REINZ says it's also slightly concerned about the toughening of credit criteria at the banks, with many now asking for 20% deposits. Now, we think there might have been some skewing of the median upwards from where the market really sits. The number of sales under $400,000 has actually dropped in the last month. We think that many first home buyers and property investors who tend to buy in that sub $400,000 mark are not involved in the market. Either they can't get loans or they still think that house prices are overvalued. And that means that the ones who are buying tend to be second or third home buyers with lots of equity. Therefore, they can afford a bigger loan and afford to buy a more expensive house. But that means, we think, that the median is skewed slightly higher and that prices have actually fallen a bit more than the 4 or 5% from a year ago that the REINZ figures suggest. Time will tell. Because we think these sales are not apples with apples. There are a certain group of houses that sold in November, there were some houses that sold in October, and a year ago. They're not the same houses directly, or the same type of houses. So there are other figures from quotable value which will give some indication of where the apples with apples comparisons are. And that shows that prices are down about 7 or 8%. Now our overall prediction, which has to be said is very controversial here at interest.co.nz, is that we expect the median house price, as measured by the REINZ, to drop 30% between the peak in November last year and November next year. And then it would take another 7 or 8 years for prices to recover to where they were in November of last year. Now we have to say that's a pretty controversial view. We base it on housing affordability being well less affordable than it needs to be. And also we see the fallout from the global credit crunch affecting the amount of money we can borrow. And we're already seeing that with a tightening of credit criteria from the banks. So there we have it, a special housing report brought to you by interest.co.nz in association with ASB.